And I'm coming to you again from the beautiful island of, where am I at? Can you guess? St. Martin. That's the spot back there. Yeah, if you ever seen it on YouTube where the jet comes, they come really, really low. It was really cool earlier. And I'll share you a video. I don't want to waste your time on airplane stuff because you know I'm addicted to airplane stuff, right? Do me a favor, if you're probably tired of hearing me ask you this, but because we got hacked on YouTube, our YouTube channel got hacked some time ago, if you could subscribe, I'd really sincerely appreciate your support. Anyway, it is what it is, so we're starting from scratch. We had 3,000 videos that we lost. Love to see your comments below. We're going to talk today about your word meaning your word. I am blown away how people really don't keep their word. I think the excuse that people make is because it's not something that's not big. If it's something like really big, I got to keep my word. But I think some people forget to realize that your word is your word. Whether you tell somebody you're going to show up at 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock, that's your word. And I really am blown away how many people don't keep their word, and I view it as a tremendous amount of lack of integrity. And I want to share with you how to maintain that integrity and also the advantages of keeping your word. I know the business and the people I attract because I keep my word. And I think what makes it worse, and I am not knocking other religions, but people who come to me, because they're Christian and I have Christian values, that makes it worse. Don't be pushing that and then your word not be your word. Oh my gosh, does that piss you off too? Anyway, make a comment if it does, even if it doesn't, whatever. So I think the advantage of keeping your word is it also helps you appreciate your worth and value. You also are putting the other person as a level of importance, because if I tell you I'm going to show up at 2 o'clock or I'm going to send this to you or do this for you, and if I'm unable to do it in advance, not after, but in advance, I'm going to tell you I'm unable to meet that deadline, or I told you I would do something and I'm not. And don't get me wrong, there's times that I blow it too. Hey, I am human. You might be watching this and I know you, and maybe I said something and I didn't do it. Call me out on it. I have no problem with somebody calling me out on it, because the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm sorry, busted. Not my intent. How can I make it up to you? Then I make sure when I say, how can I make it up to you, that I make it up to you. But when I see people doing this, you lose business, you lose friends, you lose your own self-integrity. And the thing is, it's excuse mode that people put themselves into. And if you start justifying and making excuses for those little things in your mind, you might, or somebody might feel that it's a little thing. Well, when we can justify and make excuses for little things in our mind when they're really big things, the big thing is, it is our word, then we will justify making excuses for truly bigger things. That means our word. So what I'd like you to consider is, where are you on this? When you tell somebody you're going to do, I don't care how small it is, that's the key. Just because we think it's small, but it's our word, we break that, we lose our integrity. I will tell you, in the businesses that I have, it happens weekly on a regular basis. And then when somebody gives me their word, guess what I do? I adjust and revolve my world, my life, my schedule around their world or that commitment, or make plans based on that. And when I go making plans based on that, and then the person doesn't follow up on it, it's just pure selfishness. Here you are, you made a plan or a commitment to me, and I do the same thing. If I make a commitment or a plan to you and I don't follow through on it, all I'm thinking about is me. Now, from a customer standpoint, if you're a customer of mine and I tell you I'm going to do something and I don't, whoa, that's really not good. In fact, I just got an email today, coincidentally, from somebody who said, they purchased a product and never got it. And I'm trying to do some research with my team on this, and we're looking like, okay, you're bringing this to our attention. The only record we have of you purchasing something was like, I don't know, 4 or 6, 7 years ago. But I jumped on it right away. We said, look, let's send out an email, figure out what the problem is. We'd like to solve the problem. We just automatically took responsibility for it and say, oh my goodness, we're sorry about this, how this has happened or why this has happened. I don't even know if it's correct or what it is. I doubt if the person's making it up. Why would you make something up after 4 or 5 years? I mean, it's a little long, so we'll figure it out. But when these things happen, how fast do you move? And here's the worst part about it. When you deal with people who make excuses, you are wasting your time trying to work things out in the future. It's a waste of time. Never forget this. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Let me repeat that. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. So here's what happens. When I am working with somebody, let's say somebody I'm doing business with, there's a particular company right now, and they did not follow up and do what they said they would. The moment I called them out on it, and I have every right to, I spent way too much money on this crap. The moment I call them out on it, number one, they raise their voice and interrupt me and tell me or say something like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Well, the moment they raise their voice and interrupt me, where previously in the last 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 1 minute, the conversation has been smooth and calm, and then this happens, the moment that happens, I may interrupt them, or I'll wait for them to finish, and I'll say to them, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. If you're not willing to acknowledge this, let us finish the conversation, because it's going to be a he said, she said conversation. I don't have time for that. So are you ready to acknowledge yes or no? If they're not, I'll say, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to sit here and convince you of something that you're constantly making excuses. I mean, you know what that's like. You ever worked with somebody, whether in a relationship, business, whatever, and they make excuses? Why are you wasting your energy trying to convince them because they're so convinced that they're right, because they're now in excuse mode? I have zero respect for that. I have zero respect for that. And you know what? I bet you do as well. So I just wanted to leave this with you. I think this is such an important thing. Because in today's world, I think we become so selfish that we forget to think about the consequences of when we put our word out and then we don't follow up or follow through on it. All right, hope I've shared with you something of value today. I'd love to see your comments below. I do my very best, especially as of lately, to respond to them. And I hope to see more of you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Look forward to spending more time with you, learning more about you as well. I'm out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. Don't let anything or anyone rent space in your head. From the beautiful island of St. Martin, have a blessed day.